Today's video is going to be all about the newest fragrances in my collection and what I think about them. So if that's your kind of thing, then please keep on watching. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if it's the first time you are visiting. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Hayley and I review fragrances. So as I mentioned in the intro, today's video is going to be all about the newest fragrances within my collection, my first impressions and what I think about them. So I guess without further ado, let's jump straight into the first fragrance. The first fragrance is the newest release from Room 1015, and this one is called Wavechild. Now I have been on the hunt for the perfect watermelon scent for the longest time, and I haven't found anything that was a love. Well, Wavechild is definitely a love. This reminds me of sour watermelon sweets. Specifically, there's a sour watermelon sweet that I really enjoy, and to me this smells so similar to that. You get the tart juiciness from the watermelon. There's also coconut in here and other kind of tropical notes. This one is going to be perfect for the spring and the summer. I'm just going to spray it quickly on this test strip to remind myself how it smells. I've worn this a couple of times on the skin as well. Okay, yeah, instantly I get that watermelon note, but I'm also hit with the coconut. It's kind of beachy and tropical. You're getting a sweet kind of candied lemon as well up top, and then some juicy mandarin throughout. Oh, this is such a perfect watermelon in my opinion. It's juicy and sweet, but I don't find this juvenile in any way. It is a little bit different. It does smell like candy to me, but that coconut note kind of gives it a beachy, tropical vibe too. It's more like a coconut water, but this is just so delicious. It really does smell like those sour watermelon sweets that you can get. Oh, I know I'm going to wear this one so much, specifically in the summer. I will wear it in the spring too, but I don't have anything like this in my entire collection. Super juicy. The watermelon actually remains throughout the majority of the wear of this scent. It's about medium longevity with medium projection, but I really enjoy how this one smells on my skin. It really does blossom. Now, there is an ambergris and amberwood in the base that helps to ground this, and the deep dry down is not as sweet as the opening, but I still definitely get a sweet fruitiness in the deep dry down. I don't get any of that ambergris and amberwood in the opening, and even in the mid it's only right down in the dry down. But if you have been looking for a watermelon scent, this is one that I'm going to urge you to try. It's super fresh too, yet at the same time it's sweet and juicy, and I think this is such a job well done from Room 1015. This might now be my favorite fragrance from the brand. If you watch my channel a lot, you will know that I love Cherry Punk and I also really love Sonic Flower, but this one might be my new favorite. Watermelon Dreams for sure. So that was Wavechild by Room 1015. Next up is the newest release from Maison Crivelli. And a few of you asked if I had tried this yet or if I was going to be reviewing this one. And honestly, I wasn't planning on reviewing it. That is because Tuberose is one of my least favorite notes. However, I did receive this in PR. I received a really generous hamper from Harvey Nichols, which is a retailer here in the UK, in celebration of National Fragrance Week, and this fragrance was within the hamper. I was definitely not going to blind buy this. I was going to try it in store, but this would not have been a fragrance that I would have blind bought, just because, as I mentioned, Tuberose is a note that's not really for me. Let me quickly remind myself how this smells. So when I first opened this, I did try it on my own skin plus my husband's. I always do that because fragrances smell different on both of us, and he does love Tuberose. So honestly, I was surprised, and in a good way, because Tuberose isn't for me. I've said that so many times and I'm going to keep repeating it, because maybe I'm not the best person to review a tuberose dominant fragrance, given that I don't really normally like that note. However, I think this is nice, or shall I say I think it's really good. Now, it's never going to be a huge love for me because it definitely has a lot of tuberose in here, but I do enjoy this and I have worn it twice already. It's a spicy, creamy tuberose to my nose with some vanilla, but I also do get some suede and some leather, and that's not listed in the note breakdown, but I definitely get some kind of suede or leather throughout this, which is why I think I enjoy this fragrance. That plus the spiciness, which is probably coming from the cinnamon noted in the breakdown. Now, this is a really unique composition. I've never quite smelt anything like it, not that I can place anyway. That combination of the spices, but also that kind of leathery suede nuance that I'm picking up. There is musk in here too, but it's not a straight up tuberose as you would expect it. If you're going to read the notes and see tuberose, I think there's vanilla and there's musk, maybe osmanthus. I think it's a little bit complex than just those notes listed. So I wouldn't say it's a safe blind buy by any means. Not that I would ever recommend you to blind buy anything, but this is one that you should sample. But this is a unique and complex tuberose, and I do really enjoy it. I have to say, it's not a love. You probably already know that by now, given that tuberose isn't a note that I really enjoy, but I do like this and I have been wearing it. So watch this space. I'm going to try it a little bit more, but in terms of a dominant tuberose fragrance, I really do enjoy this one. So we shall see. It has really good longevity too, as do most of Maison Crivelli fragrances. Not as strong as Hibiscus Mahajad in my opinion, but still very good longevity with a decent projection. Have you tried this new release from Maison Crivelli? And if so, please do let me know what you think about it. But I have seen a couple of opinions thus far, and it seems to be a bit of a smash hit with those of you that have tried it, but I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Next up is the newest release from Kylie Jenner, and this one is called Cosmic. I received this one in PR, and I was really shocked to get PR from Kylie Cosmetics, but really excited at the same time. Now, I didn't know what to expect from this. I saw the notes and I did think this would probably be a mass appealing scent based off the notes alone, but I didn't expect to like this as much as I do. Now, I don't think this will be for everyone on the basis that this isn't super unique. But for those of you that like a really easy, mass appealing scent profile that you can wear every day, I think this one is perfect. And I have had compliments on this too. I wore it the other day and I went to get my nails done and she was like, "What are you wearing?" And I was wearing Cosmic. Now, this to me is a soft, airy, floral musk with some amber and a little bit of vanilla. I think this is nice. It's almost like a skin scent, but a little bit more complex, and it does project. However, I will say I have oversprayed this when I've worn it, but I think this is a good fragrance, especially for the price point. And if you're looking for an everyday type of scent that features soft florals, specifically red peony, with soft amber and also a soft yet sweet vanilla, this is one that I would definitely recommend you try. I would love to hear your thoughts on this if you have tried it. I do really like the bottle too. I've taken the lid off just because it's super reflective, but I am pleasantly surprised at this launch. It's definitely a fragrance that I will use as an easy reach, that I will throw on just when I'm around the house. It kind of gives me similar vibes to Initio's Musk Therapy, not in terms of smelling the same, but the types of occasions that I would wear this one for. It would probably make a great layering scent, but it's nothing special in terms of not being unique and not complex, but at the same time, I do really like it. Next up is one of the newest releases from Gritti, and this one is called Mango Oud. And mango is definitely one of my favorite notes in perfumery. And this one did not disappoint. There's nothing quite similar to this in my personal collection. This is mango and oud, obviously, that is what the name suggests. However, it also has some other juicy, fruity nuances. So I am getting the guava that is listed in the notes, but I also pick up kind of passion fruit, peachy vibes. This is quite floral. It has neroli, osmanthus, and ylang ylang. Ylang ylang is probably the most prominent out of those florals, which gives it a kind of waxy tropical vibe. It also has some coconut in here, adding to that tropical vibe. You have vanilla and amber listed in the dry down, but I mostly get the oud. The oud is prominent. It's pretty smooth, but it's definitely a prominent oud, so you have to enjoy that note. And what I will say is in the deep dry down, you're not getting as many of those fruity notes anymore. You get the oud and you get the florals. So the neroli, the ylang ylang, and the osmanthus are prominent in the dry down with that oud, and then you get a little bit of that translucent amber. But the opening is a fruity cocktail, guava, mango, and coconut. So delicious. I don't have anything that I can directly compare it to, but I guess if we want something maybe 50% similar or in a similar type of category, you could say maybe Trouble in Paradise by Memoirs of a Perfume Collector, maybe Mango Kiss by Stefan Humbert Lucas. And I think this is such a great fragrance. It has really good longevity and does have an amazing scent bubble, at least on me anyway. So this is one that I would definitely recommend trying if you like the sound of mango and oud. This next fragrance, as soon as I saw the notes listed online, I knew I had to sample it. It has notes such as milk, almond, rose, anise, patchouli, and musk. And this is a milky lactonic lover's dream. If you love fragrances similar to Blanche Bête by Liquids Imaginaire, I think you will really enjoy this one. It's quite lactonic, as the notes would suggest, but that with the rose note, and the rose is quite prominent, it makes this almost powdery and floral at the same time. The patchouli gives it a slight earthiness, but I would say it's the least prominent note. And you do pick out the anise, giving it a unique kind of, how do I describe it? Bitter edge, maybe. A bitterness to the lactonic milky vibe up top, which for me balances this out perfectly. You definitely get the almonds, you definitely get the milk, and you definitely get the musk. It's a floral, milky almond musk dream, in my opinion. Definitely a fragrance composition that I really, really adore. Now, it does have this kind of vintage edge to it. I think that's from the musk and the rose because it gives it an almost powdery makeup kind of smell, but the milkiness and the almond is more prominent, which balances it down and stops it from being too makeupy and too vintage smelling. And the anise, like I mentioned, gives this a kind of unique bitter touch. I would highly recommend sampling this one if you're curious about the notes. It is gourmand, but not fully gourmand because of the florals and because of the patchouli. Such an interesting composition. I will definitely review this one in more detail in the future, but please do let me know what you think about the notes. Is this one that you're interested in trying? I would love to hear your feedback in the comments down below. Next up is Kama, which is the newest release from Pernoire. This is such a unique composition. It features notes of blackberry, leather, birch tar, violet, orris, musk, and cotton candy. Now, you definitely get the blackberry in the opening, and I think blackberry is such a unique note. It's very sweet, yet at the same time it's kind of bitter. You get cotton candy, but not in the kind of typical cotton candy sense. It just adds this real blast of sweetness to the overall composition. And when that's blended with the birch tar, which is a unique smelling note, and the leather, it's really difficult to describe how this smells, but I will try my best. You get a kind of muskiness in the dry down, which of course comes from the musk, and then you get that orris, which is smooth and somewhat earthy. I'm getting the violet, which adds a slightly powderiness too. The closest thing that I could probably compare it to is Mortal Skin by Stefan Humbert Lucas, but they're still quite different. But yeah, this is such an interesting composition. Lasts all day. This is a very loud fragrance, projects beautifully, and is definitely a unique fragrance in my entire collection. I do think this one is best for the autumn and the winter, but you can wear it in the spring too, specifically more so in the evenings. Summer, I'm not too sure about. It might be a little bit too powerful, but yeah, great new release from Pernoire. This brand continues to surprise me with each fragrance. I still absolutely adore Mansa. I think that is my favorite from their entire collection, but from a unique point of view, Kama definitely hits the mark, and I think this is a really great new release. So those were all of the fragrances that I wanted to showcase in today's video. Please do let me know what you think about these fragrances, good or bad, if you've tried them, or maybe if you want to sample them. I would love to hear your feedback. But I also want to know, what are your newest fragrances within your collection? Or what are the newer fragrances that you've sampled? Please do let me know down in the comments. I love hearing your feedback. But thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure as always. I hope to see you in a future video to come. Thank you so much, and goodbye.